Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A lot of you want to talk about prices, gasoline and otherwise, based on the conversation that we just had from Bonnie last hour. We'll get back into that coming up in the next few moments. But for a couple of minutes, we're going to speak to our guest in studio. His name is Johnny Garrett. He is a representative from the Goodlettsville area. He is also running for the 6th Congressional District seat being vacated by Congressman John Rose, who has decided to run for governor, and that opens up that seat. And Johnny threw his hat in the ring some months ago. I don't know exactly how many. And I just realized something. You got people. You've never had. What's up, man? What's up?
How are you?
I'm doing good. You all right?
I'm well.
I just looked over my shoulder. I was like, I don't recognize it. Oh, wait, that must be Johnny's people.
That's right.
Man, oh, man, you're running for Congress. You got people now.
Yeah, I guess they just come around. They follow me around everywhere.
Watch out. Make sure they're not from D.C. If they're from D.C., they got their hands out.
That's right.
They're looking for, everything going well?
Everything's going great. Going great. Can't complain a bit. Thank you for having me on.
It's absolute. Well, I thought of you. I mean, and obviously you've lent your voice to some of the conversation that we've been having. We're 100,000 watts, so we go everywhere. And we try to hone down to some of those issues of a local nature that matter, because I think this issue matters more than just Sumner County, because I think these things are going on not just all across the state of Tennessee in these various areas, but all across the nation. And it's kind of it feels like the battle for our children's souls.
It really is, and it begins a couple of years ago with Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire exposing Vanderbilt with these surgeries they were performing on minors, that changed their biology at 10 years old, right, or whatever the case may be, right? They're minors. And so this is an issue that's not going away, because our left flank fought us, as you well know, all the way to the United States Supreme Court to protect children from mutilating their own bodies. I mean, would we ever think that we were having conversations like that on a national level, that we had to protect children in that way? I
truly, I don't want to be the old guy sitting on the front porch.
Well, you are. I mean,
but good gracious. I mean, when we were kids, when we were going to school, it was the one kid that wanted to color her hair purple or his hair purple or whatever, wanted to stand out that way. And, are they going to allow to be in class? I mean, and those things seem so damn quaint now. And we're having conversations about kids having their bodies mutilated and whether that should be legal. And most common sense people look at that and go, hell no. Of course it shouldn't be.
That's right. And so where does this start? What happens with this? And that's why I think with this, Sumner County Library Board that seems to be the topic of the past couple of days is so disturbing, because it starts in our libraries. I mean, you were talking earlier that, back in our day, if we were doing a paper or something for school, you didn't have the internet. You didn't have Google. You didn't have Wikipedia to go source your information. You either had an encyclopedia or you went to the library, right? And that gives things certain credibility, what's in that library. And we are having children's books that says it's okay if you're a 6-year-old running around and you want to be a girl and you were born a boy. What does that put in that child's mind at that age?
Well, and my frustration is that we're paying for it.
That's right.
At that point, if it's in the public library, if it's funded by the public library system, then the community that the public library serves is being pushed to fund these types of indoctrination pamphlets or whatever they are. And my take yesterday, and I'm curious yours, is look, if there's only so much the government can do. There's only so much the government can say about how parents raise their kids. And if a parent wants to go and buy that book or that material online, wants to go to a bookstore that sells it and buy it there and read it to their kids in their home, I don't have any say in that.
Absolutely. I think it's fundamentally about the role of what our federal government should be, right? I mean, we need, and in Tennessee, we're required to give our kids a public education. We want them to learn the ABCs, not the DEIs, right? That's what this does. So what we need to concentrate on is, one, from the federal perspective, do we even need the Department of Education, right? Do we even need to waste that bureaucratic, huge operation in D.C. that absolutely does nothing, that was born from the Carter administration, so it's really not that old.
It's not old.
Tell me what it's done.
Nothing. Made it worse. Wasted a lot of money.
Government does not do things typically very well. And we are encouraged or required to make sure we provide them a good education. That means we give them what's simple, right? Let's give you the ABCs. Let's give you the 2+2. There's no reason to bring in this indoctrination and say you also need to learn the DEIs. That's absolutely crazy. That's what's happening.
Well, and there are some that are suggesting, because this is the public library system in Sumner County and not the school library system. Which,
that's right.
That's
right.
And I got confused on it yesterday, and I had to repair my confusion. But even
that happens frequently, doesn't it, man? I mean, I'm glad you can repair it so easily.
I'm glad we're friendly enough now that you can start taking jabs. That's good.
Right.
That's good. Y'all just wait till he starts getting some competition in that 6th district. We'll get him back. No, I'm just kidding. So, I mean, so in the public, so people say, well, why wouldn't you just have these books there and make them up? Now, we make decisions about materials in the public library system all the time. We're not going to allow materials that are contrary to the community standard or community beliefs. We're not going to allow materials that potentially would be harmful for individuals that got their hands on it. We're not going to, for example, and this is an extreme one, we're not going to put a book in the public library that tells you how to make a bomb. We're not going to do that. Well, how different is it than to put something in a child's hands that they can get their hands on, to tell them that this type of body-type mutilation prior to their age of majority is okay? I look at it the same way.
Exactly. I mean, like I said before, it starts somewhere, right? We've looked at the violence that we've seen across this nation with the Charlie Kirk assassination. What is wrong with each shooter that's part of that assassination, or the things that we've seen over the past couple of years? They've been trans for the most part, or they've had those tendencies. Where do they find that? Where is it? It should not be taxpayer funded. We should get those materials out of our public libraries. They're inappropriate, especially for young folks 7, 8, 9, 10 years old.
So it's my understanding, and I had to catch up to this issue, and my colleague Chris Hand was much more on top of it than I have been with regard to the nuts and bolts of it. But it's my understanding that there's 9 people on the library board, and there's been a missing person for a while, and so there's been an 8 vote status, and that the votes have been fairly split between the more conservative members of the board and the more moderate, to say it nicely, members. And there was an effort, it's my understanding, in Sumner County to reduce the numbers on the board to 7, which would have given those that are supportive of this type of material in the library system a majority vote. And instead, what happened was Riley Gaines got appointed to the library board, which kind of
that wasn't on my bingo card.
That was not on my bingo card either. What about that? I mean, congrats, brother. I'm coming back. Don't worry. I just got to find the right property, and I'm coming back. But Sumner County almost seems like the test kitchen for this happening in and around Tennessee, and that is there's growth. And everybody, I mean, for the most part, people like growth. They like the idea of a community growing and people enjoying the amenities that the community provides. But the people of Sumner County that have been there a long time, they also want to protect that which made Sumner County great, and they don't want to become some of these communities that, in their opinion, have overgrown with, in some cases, these cookie-cutter type neighborhoods and whatnot. And there's a strain, it feels like, in the county trying to balance that level of growth. And y'all have seen extreme growth up there versus maintaining that country sense that a lot of people love about the place.
Right. Well, I think that bodes to what we've been able to accomplish in the state legislature, right, for wanting places for people to live. People tell us all the time we don't want to talk about it too much because we want to keep it a secret, right? But you can't for what we've been able to create here. So I think you've got to be smart. I think both all the cities in Sumner County, from the county commission to our local cities, they do a good job, I think, of making sure they grow smartly. I think that's what we need to have in mind on how you grow, because I think it's coming, right? And you don't want it to be something that you don't want it to look upon if you don't have a plan. And I think that's what we got to continue to do, to work with our local partners to make sure that we properly and smartly plan for the growth that's going to happen no matter what. Because I would rather expand our tax base, so to speak, rather than tax you more to make up for the difference. And I think there's various conversations to accomplish that here locally and on the state level. So I think that's just going to be part of the process. Growing tends to hurt a little bit. There's that growing pains that happens. Sumner County's experienced it. Rutherford County, others, Nashville's everybody to a certain degree is experiencing that growth. We just got to be smart on how we deal with it.
Well, one of the things that I said when Davidson County was debating, the transit tax, And folks out in Sumner and Rutherford and Williamson and, I go on in Wilson, they like to say, well, that's not my business. That's Davidson County's business. And what I've told those folks is, hold on a second. It's going to be your business. Because when those taxes go up on the transit side and raise the sales taxes of everybody in Davidson County, and then they get hit with this property tax increase in Davidson County, there's going to be flight. And we're already seeing it. I hear from people every day that said, I'm selling my house, I'm moving out, it's too expensive, or I'm just tired of it. And by residual, those folks eventually land in beautiful places like Sumner County and Gallatin and Goodlettsville and all those other places in between. And it puts a strain, like you talk about, on the infrastructure and the services that those communities can provide.
Think there's some discussions to look at. Does property tax still work in its general sense? It worked 50 years ago, 40 years, et cetera, right? Does it still work? Even Ron DeSantis in Florida wants to get rid of it. The question becomes, well, if you get rid of it, how do you replace it, right? What do we replace that revenue with? So I think those are discussions that are happening. Those are good discussions to have. People want to have a sense that they own their property. And if you don't pay your property taxes, what you don't really
happens? Own your property anymore. Because
so
the
they
government
want
comes
that.
In.
They want that sense. And look, we could even tackle that from the federal perspective, I believe. And so it's always good to discuss what we can do to make sure people feel that they're prosperous in America. Home ownership is one of those things.
Have you ever looked into at all, talking about the federal level and your candidacy for the 6th Congressional District? I have long been an advocate for this fair tax. And it's a difficult thing to explain to people, but it's basically a consumption tax on the national level that would replace all national taxes, Social Security taxes, FICA tax, everything, income taxes, everything would go away. And it would roll over into national consumption tax. And I think you could do that on a state level, too,
I think
eliminate property tax.
I think it's absolutely intriguing and needs to be discussed on ways to continue to reduce the tax burden on our citizens, both from a federal level in Tennessee. We have very little taxes per se, income-wise. We have none in Tennessee, but there is a lot of other things. I think any ways we can discuss more ways we can reduce the tax burden on our citizens is the right way to go.
We're talking Sumner County with Johnny Garrett. We'll also talk about the General Assembly. He's got a little something or another to do before he really ramps up that 6th Congressional District campaign, and that's an entire General Assembly get-together coming up beginning next year. That's going to be on us before you know it. We will discuss that in a moment. It's 4:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dang, Jackson. We need to be on Jackson watch tonight. Who's got first shift?
I think Tony is probably hopping the first plane to San Francisco he can after listening to Jackson.
My goodness gracious. Johnny Garrett is a proud Tennessean, and he is a proud graduate of the university.
Oh, yes.
Johnny, can you offer any words of solace to young Jackson, who is in his mid-20s?
And it happened again. They took the coach again.
They took he feels like they took his coach again from him. And really the only and I'm not trying to give a backhanded slap at the football team. I'm just saying the only winning the man's known all his life, just packed up his bags and moved to San Francisco.
Johnny, do you see what I have to deal with on a daily basis?
Just being real.
I feel sorry for you. I really do. I really do.
Just being real, but any words? Is there anything that
I have full faith in Danny White that he's going to get a knockout coach for our UT Volunteers.
Full faith in Danny White. There you
Full faith in our athletic director. He is going to be the man.
How about that?
To come up with our next phenom coach. At least that's what I hope.
You know what he said during the press conference? And this is impressive with adding Tony Vitello. They went from a $3 million budget to a $14 million budget.
Ooh. Whoa.
Woo.
So the baseball program?
Yes. They got the bank to find another coach.
Oh, yeah. They got the money.
They're going to find it. They're going to find them. They're going to find them. I have full faith. Full faith. We're going to be rocking.
Go
Vols.
Go Big Orange, y'all. Y'all be all right. And
you sound good saying that. You look good. You sound good saying that.
I told Jackson yesterday, y'all win all you want in baseball. I don't care. I don't give a rip.
Matt don't even know his name.
I couldn't name. If you gunned to my head, I couldn't tell you the head coach.
My understanding is Glenn was here and he broke this chair. I'm about to break the other half on some.
Is there? You got anything on your mind? General Assembly comes before. Obviously you got a task ahead of you as a representative of your district. prior to really getting the win. I mean, I know you're already going. Don't get me wrong. The 6th district race is ongoing. But are you excited about the General Assembly?
I am excited about the General Assembly. It's sort of bittersweet. I was driving in one day and coming in down James Robinson Parkway looking at the Capitol, and they had 3 flags above it. And the 3rd flag is usually the General Assembly flag, but it was a different flag. But that reminded me this is going to be the last time that I'm going to be coming in and get to work and have the privilege to represent the folks of the 45th District in the Capitol.
Look at that confidence, y'all. I heard that. I heard that confidence right there.
It is. And so, what I'm looking forward to and what's happened, I think, over the past couple of weeks is, crime has been down here in Memphis. We even have a Democratic state representative that's saying that President Trump's deployment of the National Guard is working. How about that? That now it is something else. And that, for what the president has been able to accomplish in his, we are in October, 10 months, and he's been in office, has been absolutely extraordinary. And it's been exciting to watch. That's what gets me excited about jumping in this race, to go up there and help him do what he's doing. Just like whoever thought that, I don't remember the meme, but there were thousands of arrests, violent crimes. The amount of children they've located that have been missing.
I think over 50 now.
Yeah. Can you believe that? And it's all because not only, I think, their presence, but it's also about, oh my gosh, they're coming for us. People often say, and I'm proud of our Sumner County Sheriff and our police in Sumner versus the police in Davidson County, that you better not do a crime in Sumner because you're going to jail. You probably get away with it in Davidson County. It's just a mindset, right? Don't go to Sumner County, commit a crime. That's what's happening in Memphis.
That's what
right
I
now.
love.
It's all because of President Trump.
Well, and
the Memphis Task Force and the folks on the ground.
Well, no question.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about Mount Juliet. With some of the LPR technology that they utilize, and most of the people that they catch are coming out of Nashville. I'm like, my goodness gracious, what's so hard about putting those LPRs in Davidson County?
As I'm traveling the 6th, I'm hearing that from our sheriffs in our counties, that these crimes, they're coming from Nashville. It's an hour and a half, 2.5 hours across the district.
Are you supportive? We talked to Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton about this, and I think he's laying plans to offer the money that would provide some more scholarships under the scholarship bill that was passed. Are you supportive of that?
Oh, absolutely. The success of that program is phenomenal, and the more power that we can give back to the parents of this state, of the state of Tennessee, I'm absolutely all for it. It's exactly why, I want President Trump, as soon as he possibly can, to shut down the Federal Department of Education. It's going to be the right thing for the students of Tennessee. That's why I'm running. That's so absolutely. I think more parents that have the power to decide and they're not, don't have to go out there and win the lottery in case to choose a different school than their zip code dictates, is going to be the best thing to do for these students and these parents.
What's the game plan now as you canvass the 6th Congressional District, just to make sure folks know who you are, what you're about, where you're from, and the fact that you're running? Obviously, this thing will get going. It'll get breakneck speed by February or so of next year. But what are you doing now to kind of lay those tracks?
Well, as I introduced myself to the voters of the 6th District, and you do that. You tell your story. But what I am most excited about, and what has been somewhat of a surprise, is actually hearing their story. Tell me what you expect out of someone that represents you in D.C. How often do you want to see them? How often do you even want to think about it? Do you support what President Trump's doing? Because I believe his America's First agenda is working for you, but you tell me how it's working for you. That's what I get excited about. Not necessarily, I want them to hear my story. I want them to hear my passion, but I want to hear from them. That's what gets me excited about doing this.
Well, listen, I know we'll have you back in plenty of time, probably before the new year, and obviously plenty to talk about in 2026 with the General Assembly coming up and the 6th Congressional District contest. Before that, though, we got to make sure the Republican wins in the 7th Congressional District.
People need to get out and vote. That disparity in the vote count from Democrat to Republican,
only like 5,000.
Little too close. And so, yes, people need to pay attention. And if you have been interested at all in anything I've said, go to JohnnyGarrettForCongress.com. Check me out.
There you go. Johnny Garrett, thank you, brother. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt.
You know how much. There's Representative Garrett. We'll be back in a moment. It's time for the news on Superdog. What is... Dang, Jackson. bleeding orange, aren't you?
A little bit, brother.
Y'all need to call up and help Jackson out here because I don't know what to tell him. I mean, what Johnny Garrett, graduate of the University of Tennessee, were his words of any solace to you, Jackson?
Oh, nothing's of solace today.
Man, I'm worried about Ken. I'm worried about him.
Me too.
Now
man.
that they've lost that what's his name, Vinny Testaverde or whatever his name is. They've lost that coach. Don't turn my mic off. Is that not his? Is that not his name?
No, sir.
It is not.
That's 50.
I can't remember it, Jackson. I'm not. Oh, it's Tony.
Tony Testaverde.
Tony Testaverde. Going out to San Francisco.
Ken's really yucking it up back there for somebody who's 2 weeks away.
Uh-oh. I guarantee you he'll be a football fan then, won't he?
Football.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss, Jackson. That's all I can tell you. I wish there were words of comfort that I could provide to you.
Brother Jackson, you got to be like your athletic director, Danny White, who says this is not something to be sad about, something to be proud about.
That's exactly right.
Tony Vitello brought unprecedented success to the Tennessee Vols baseball program, and he's being rewarded for it. He's making history. The first college baseball coach to go directly to the big leagues. History. As a manager.
Yeah, cool.
Joe Young, buck up, Jackson. I'm a lifelong Titan. I've been through so much pain.
I like them too.
Wait a minute. I've tried to dissect this. I've got some spelling errors in this message. Joe writes, buck up, Jackson. I'm a lifelong Titan fan now. Much pain I've been through, and I'm not even thinking about taking my wife anything weird. What? 4460 wants to know when Dick Vitale is leaving. John says, Jackson, are you 12? Move on.
Oh.
Jackson is not 12, but,
I'm close.
it's closer than you think. And that's also the best rendition of that song, by the way. All right, maybe some folks have some words of solace for you there, Jackson. I know we're talking gasoline prices. We're talking inflation. We're also talking about the White House. Ricky is on the line. Hello, Ricky.
How you doing?
Ricky, I'm great. I hope you are.
Oh, I'm just lovely. Talking about the White House, you know what one of the most amazing facts is about it? The original cornerstone supposedly is missing and nobody knows where it is.
Huh.
I think Hillary Clinton took it on the way out.
Jackson thinks Hillary took it. Yeah.
And it was laid years ago, supposedly, by the Freemasons. They had special markings on it and all that. You know how they do the little ceremonies. But I just wonder if they'll ever find it.
Well, if it was laid there by the Freemasons, you know who my main suspect on that theft would be?
A Freemason.
A Freemason.
Thank you. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
As far as a UT baseball coach, can you imagine how much of a raise? I know UT paid him good, but can you imagine how much of a raise he's getting? I can't knock him a bit. If he can get a team that can whip the Dodgers left and right, hey, I'll buy a hat, a jersey, everything you can name from them.
Well, I'll root for the San Francisco Giants long before I root for the L.A. Dodgers. My grandma will roll over in her grave if I ever rooted for the Dodgers. She couldn't stand the L.A. Dodgers, so she called him the old school manager. You remember the old manager back in the 80s and early 90s, Ricky? You know who it was?
Yeah.
It was Tommy Lasorda was his name.
Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah.
My grandma referred to him as Tony Lasoda. And when I would correct her, she would look at me like I just ate a bug and then go about to tell me how he paid off the umpires. Oh, she was convinced that Tony Lasoda paid off the umpires so that the Dodgers got to beat the Atlanta Braves. Convinced.
And you can't tell me that high-dollar pitcher and hitter and all that they got ain't guilty of betting on the game.
Well, probably so.
He claimed that his interpreter was the one doing it. No. He bought his way out of that.
Well, let me tell you something. It is up to our good Tennessee man, that Tony Vitalis, to clean all this up. Ken, can you and I talk for a second?
Yes.
We're just having a little fun. Jackson has not smiled once at any of these. Not
man.
once.
He's upset, man.
He
really is.
I'm just pulling the curtain back. Y'all, every time I say a wrong name, Jackson Williams flips me off. Every single time.
And I mean it.
Every time.
I mean it.
I mean, I think we've come up with some pretty good ones.
The Dick Vitale one was a little funny.
You know, like Vinny Testaverde?
That was a quarterback for the Jets, right?
Jets, Browns, something.
He went all over the place.
He went all over. He's good. He's
I
originally
actually
with the
think he played
Hurricanes,
for the
right?
Oilers.
Did he? Didn't he play? He played college ball with the Hurricanes, if I'm not
Yes, sir, he did.
mistaken. Yeah.
Titans legend.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have many of those anymore.
No, you don't. We continue with episode 908 on the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Christine wants to talk about prices. Perhaps someone else can help Bonnie out. Bonnie called me earlier and was explaining to me that prices have not gone down, and she's frustrated about it, ready to vote Democrat, Bonnie said. What do you think about it, Christine?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Murph. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to make a couple points. People seem to forget that when Biden entered office, the first thing he did on the first day was shut down our oil fields, jacked up our fuel prices, and in turn, that was a result of the price hike in the food prices that we see in the grocery stores and the restaurants and things like that, because that stuff has to be transported all across America to get to the stores where it's going to. Okay, so it was just a chain reaction. I believe prices are better now, but they will never get back to when Trump was first in office. I really feel like it's come down to that. I had a truck I absolutely love. I had to give up that truck about a month ago. It cost me $85 every 4.5 days, and I finally went down and swallowed my tongue and bought a hybrid, okay? You just got to do what you got to do right now in these times. Trump has only been in office less than a year. You cannot fix anything of drastic measure right now when it comes to the inflation in that time. It took Biden 4 years to screw it up. 4 years to screw it up. Now, here's the point in all this. You got to vote. Don't sit there and say, well, my vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter in the numbers. The hell it does. It really does. Because look at what we got when Biden took office. Now, if you think that was scary, you just wait. If another Democrat gets in that office, or even if Jacqueline Harris was sitting in that chair in the Oval Office right now and not Trump, how much worse will it be? Because I promise you, Miss Bonnie, it will get drastically worse. Now, I think you mentioned Lebanon area. If you're smart and do some research, and the people will tell you that live there for many years, like myself, you can find deals out there. You go to that food land down the road from the ag center at the farm, the state fairgrounds. He runs deals. He gets deals. Then you go to that other market that's over there by Lowe's, and they've got deals on other types of groceries. You just got to hunt them down and work for it. And you're right. I mean, the waitress was right. You wanted a different drink. That's going to charge you a whole new amount, the $3.50. That's ridiculous to charge. You could go down there to the grocery store and buy it for 89 cents for, what is it, a 2-liter or whatever they call that nowadays. But you just got to be smart about it. But, Miss Bonnie, do not give up on the Republican Party.
And I feel like you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater if you start talking about voting Democrat. I mean, Democrats are however you think Trump has done. Even if you believe, and I agree with you, Christine, that I think you've got to give the man time on these price things. I mean, this is the economy is a huge ship, and it takes a long time to get it turned around. But and look, Donald Trump has not gotten inflation down. And thank you, Christine, for the call, and I'm going to let you go. Donald Trump's not gotten inflation down as quickly as he potentially could have because of tariffs. But Donald Trump is not using tariffs as a measure by which he brings in money from foreign governments or from the tax-paying citizens themselves, depending on the case-by-case basis of the tariff. what Donald Trump is using, he's using tariffs as leverage tools to negotiate better deals. And in doing so, he understands naturally that he's going to keep inflation a little higher than it could be. He is not going to allow – the economy is going to be trepidatious when it comes to Donald Trump's tariffs and tariff policy. But he understands it's better to get this done early, to get these negotiated trade deals on the table, to get these other deals on the table, to use tariffs to eliminate foreign conflicts, etc. Part of what he did in the Middle East was just that. And as a result, he can handle economic issues on the back half of the first half of his term, or even in the second half of his term after the 2026 midterm elections. So I hope that makes sense. Great call from Christine. Supertalk 99.7 WTN will continue updating you on everything going on today. Breaking news out of Knoxville. Dick Viagra has been let go as the head coach. Ken, I don't know if you have this. If you've talked about it, I apologize, but I have a couple of folks telling me that Highway 70 is closed.
Let's look at it here.
By White Bluff due to a fatality. That's the report that I have on my Super